Alright YouTube, what's going on? It's Hightower 5000 here today, bringing a brand new quest guide. Today's quest is Forgettable Tale, or the Forgettable Tale of a Drunken Dwarf. I can start this quest by talking to Veldaban, the commander of the Black Guard in Keldagrim. To finish this quest, I must have the levels of 17 farming and level 22 cooking. I additionally must complete the Giant Dwarf Quest, very easy quest. Unfortunately I don't have a guide on that yet, and I also must have won the fishing contest at least once. Overall, not very difficult requirements there. Official difficulty of this is intermediate. The quest length is long, however the quest itself is actually quite short. However, there's two sections we have to wait for 20 minutes. One 20-minute section we need to wait for crops to grow, and other we need to wait for like a beer to mature. So there's about two sections of 20 minutes where you do absolutely nothing, and also there's no enemies to defeat, so we have to bring no combat armor for this quest as well. Finally, before we go ahead and get this quest started, the items you're going to require are 2 buckets of water. You need 2 barley malt. Make sure you get barley malt, not just barley. You need 2 beers, and you're also going to need an empty beer glass. You might just want to buy an additional beer and go ahead and just drink it. To start this quest, we need to head to Keldagrim. The best way of probably doing that is coming to the Grand Exchange in Varrock, and if you go up to the northwest corner, basically there is a trapdoor on the floor. As you can see here, it's got the option quick travel. I'm going to go ahead and use that, and basically that's you're going to take a minecart all the way down to the Dwarven City. So if you're arriving in this city like I am from the east, what you need to do is head over to the bank into the west. All you need to do is cross the river and continue west, and it'll eventually walk into the bank. If you're arriving in another way, for example from the south up the river, then go ahead and do a similar thing, make your way to the bank. Once you arrive at the bank, we actually want to go to the building to the west of that where there are 2 start quest icons. That's where we're going to be heading, the HQ for the Black Guard. So once you arrive, you want to open the door and walk in, and then you're going to find Commander Veldaban. Go ahead and talk to him. Select option number 2, very interested. Select option number 1, yes. Select option number 1, sounds like a job just for me. And then your screen's going to go blank, and then you're going to enter into a cutscene. After you exit out the cutscene, you're going to actually notice that you're now on the other side of the river. You're back on the east side of the river, so technically you've been teleported to the other side of the city. So once you exit out the cutscene, the building directly north to you want to go ahead and enter into, and there's going to be the Drunken Dwarf in this building. Go ahead and talk to the Drunken Dwarf, and then select option number 2, I need to know about the red axe. Now you need to go ahead and talk to him again, because unfortunately he's a bit drunk and it's not registered that. Select the same option again, option number 2, I need to know about the red axe. And he's now taking a bead off us, and now he is going to give us 1 of the seeds. Alright, so once you're done talking to him, that's just got 1 seed out of 4. We need to collect 4 seeds. So what you want to do is head directly south to the pub on the east side of the river, and then we're going to be looking for this person called a rowdy dwarf. He should be walking around outside the pub, either to the north, the east or the west. Go ahead and talk to him and ask for a seed. Now you don't want to skip through this bit as fast, because basically he's going to ask for a select item. Now I didn't include this at the start of the quest because I think there's a possibility of about 40 different items that he can ask for. So unfortunately you're probably going to have to go, if you're lucky enough to have it in your bank. If not, you're probably going to have to go to the Grand Exchange and buy it. So what you want to do is just slowly go through the chat until you see what he is asking for. Now going through my conversation, what he was asking for a king worm. Now king worm is a very random thing. As I said, I think there's about 30 to 40 different items you can ask for, all very random. For example, you could be asking for a steel dart, a bucket of camel poo, all this sort of stuff. If you're confused about where to go ahead and get your item, then you might want to go ahead and consult Wikipedia. I'm not going to read them all out just because there's a whole list of them. They all have different requirements. Most of them you'll be able to buy in the Grand Exchange, however 1 or 2 you will not be able to. So you might need to go onto the Wikipedia page, which I'll put a link in the description below to go ahead and find that. If unfortunately you do get the camel poo, then that has quite a few parts to it. I'm not going to be doing it because I didn't get camel poo, but you probably do definitely need to go down and consult the link below. So for me, I need to go get a king worm. I'm just going to go ahead to the Grand Exchange as I don't have one of these in my bank unfortunately, and I'm then going to bring it back to the rowdy dwarf. Again, I'm probably just going to go to Elf City to buy it, then teleport to Varrock Grand Exchange, then from there take the cart back in, and then go and talk to the Rowdy Dwarf. That's probably the best way if you have access to Elf City. If not, head to the Varrock Grand Exchange or wherever you have to go to, and then return to the Varrock Grand Exchange. Once you're there, take the cart back through and head back north to the Rowdy Dwarf. Anyways, this is me now back in Keldagrim. I've got my King Worm. I managed to buy it off the Grand Exchange. My item was very simple, however yours might not be. So once you've got it anyway, head back to the Rowdy Dwarf. The Rowdy Dwarf should just be running around the pub. Like I said, I believe right now he is around the east side, unfortunately. And now I've caught up with him, I'll go ahead and speak to him. You're going to ask for a seed again, and then basically he's going to ask, do you have the item? I now have the item, so he's going to give us the second out of 4 seeds. So for the third seed, what we need to do is we need to head back over to the bank on the west side of town. So just go ahead and go over and cross the bridge, and then head a little bit in your southwest direction and go to the bank. And we're actually going to go to the building just south of the bank. I keep using the bank as a reference point just because it is a very good one. But we want to go to the building south of the bank. And then this is going to be the pub on the west side, not to get confused with the one on the east side. And then once you arrive, you're going to find this guy, I believe called Gus or Gauss. Go ahead and talk to him. And then basically you're going to ask about a seed again. And then he's just going to ask you, all you need to do is actually make a toast to get the seed. This seed is very easy to get. So as you see, you're going to clink glasses, and then he's going to give you the seed quite easily, like so. So for this next part, we're going to have to do some travelling again. We're going to need to head to White Wolf Mountain. Now, where White Wolf Mountain is, we actually need to go under White Wolf Mountain, and again there's some dwarves under there. If you completed one of the quests, there's a passage that goes under it. There's some dwarves down there. Now alternatively, you can teleport out to Cartherby or teleport out to Taverley and then enter down into the underground pass down there, or you can actually take the cart from Keldagrim right here. If you go back to where the carts are in the southeast corner, then I'll show you how to get there a lot faster. So go ahead and then go right on train cart and then select White Wolf Mountain, and then you'll be taken there in the cart. And then once you arrive, you've arrived here. If you decide to come along from Taverley, then you'll basically land up climbing down these stairs here. The entrance from Taverley is here, so it's actually just right north of the lodestone and the house teleport. If you're coming in from the Cartherby side, then you're going to land up coming along the other side of this cave, which you just need to follow around. Anyway, so now that we're here, we're going to go and enter into the bar again for a third time, and then you're going to look for a person called Horkav the engineer. Go ahead and talk to him, and then ask that you're looking for a hop, and then select option number 1, what if I offer you a drink? And then basically you're going to say you're going to offer him a stout. So what you're going to have to do is go ahead and pick up a dwarven stout off the table, like so, and then go ahead and talk to him again. Then select option number 1 again, what if I offer you a drink? And then this time, now you have the drink in your inventory, you should just be able to hand it over. And there we go, there is all 4 seeds. So for this next part, we're going to need to head back to Keldagrim. Go ahead and just ride on the train cart that we arrived in, or you can go back to the Grand Exchange in Varrock and I guess use that cart as well. Alternatively, whatever method you do use, though, you're going to land up coming into the southeast corner of the city again. So now that we've got all 4 seeds, we're going to need to go ahead and plant them. So what you want to do is you want to head out to the west side of the city. Basically, this large building in the centre, it hosts dwarves which you can pickpocket, also hosts all 8 clans, which we'll come back to later on in this quest. You can go through this or you can travel over the bridge at the north, it doesn't really matter. This time I'm just going to go through the building in the middle. But once you get to the west side of the city, you're going to end up seeing this crop patch here. What you want to do is rake away. Now before we get this planted, we're going to need to talk to Rhines the gardener. Go ahead and just talk to him and ask for some help. Just going to ask for some advice. He's basically going to tell you that because it's underground there's not very good sunlight for planting stuff. So now that the garden is weeded, if for some reason weeds have grown back, re-rake it and then just go ahead and use your seeds on the ground and plant them in. Now unfortunately at this part we have to wait. It says you have to wait from around 5 to 20 minutes. I believe it is totally random. Now for this part you can actually log out and they'll still grow. I know for example with some types of farming if you do log out it'll reset the process. I believe this is only a 1-stage grow. And basically you will get a notification in your chat basically saying that you have it has grown. So this does make it quite easy. All I'm going to do, for example, now is I'm just going to go ahead and either train a skill. I think I might go and train some fishing for about 15 minutes and then come back. Alright, so I'm not too sure how long that has been, but that is my crops now ready to be harvested. So once they are, go ahead and harvest them, and then basically in your inventory you should get some Kelda hops. So it's now time to go ahead and brew ourselves the beer. So what we need to do for this is go ahead and make our way to the bar in the east of the city. So again, you can either run through the centre building or go north to the bridge, and you're going to be heading to the bar in the east. Once you arrive in the bar in the east, what you want to do is climb up the stairs, and then you're going to see that there's loads of facilities for brewing. So first thing we're going to do is pick up the empty pot in the southeastern corner. Go ahead and use the empty pot on the person walking around in the top floor, and then basically he's going to sell you yeast for 25 coins. So select option number 1, fill your pot. You're then going to have to enter your PIN if you've not done so already, and then it'll give you some yeast, just like so. Now if you're interested, you can go ahead and find out how to brew stuff. Doesn't matter, I'm just going to talk you through it all basically. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put stuff here in this vat. So go ahead and put in your buckets of water first. After the buckets of water, go ahead and add in the 2 barley malts as well, and then finally go ahead and put in the hops. I should just put them in, and then after that go ahead and put in the ale yeast as well. So basically that's everything in our inventory ahead in that. Now all we should have is 1 beer left over for later on in the quest. Now we have to wait about 20 minutes for this. It's 5 to 20 minutes. Last time mine seemed to be closer to 20. Wasn't at all sure the exact time anyway. But you do have to be online for this. Make sure you stay online or it will reset. Again, the chat is going to tell you basically perhaps I should have a look and see if my Kelda brew has brewed. That'll be the official message that'll come up in the chat for you. And also the liquid is going to change colour, so that's when you know it'll be ready. So go ahead, go and train a skill, go do something, go watch one of my videos maybe. I'm going to go ahead and edit this previous part now, and then I'll see you again hopefully in about 10, 15, 20 minutes. Right, so I went away and got some food actually. It took me about half an hour, so I have logged out since then, though that was after it malted. I got the message in my chat. What you want to do is go ahead and go to the south and turn the valve, and then that is actually going to go into this Kelda here. What you want to do is take it out the barrel here. Use your beer glass, I believe, on this barrel, and then hopefully there we go. So that's just got the Kelda stout. So all you need to do is turn the valve, that'll move it into the barrel, and then take it out the barrel like so. Quite easy. Right, so from here what we need to do is head back to the Drunken Dwarf, who we've seen at the start of the quest. You just want to exit the pub to the north, and then pretty much head directly north, and it is the house with all the red dots on the mini-map. This house here, enter it, and then go ahead and speak to the Drunken Dwarf. Select option number 2, I need to know about the red act. And then you're going to hand over the stout that we have just made. And then we're going to go into another cutscene again. So once you exit the cutscene, just finish off his chat. Now what we need to do is head directly south. We need to head back to the mine carts. This time don't go ahead and board them though. We need to go and talk to the cart conductor. Now you're going to have to go and talk to the cart conductor, not the one just beside the tracks, but just the one to the actual south, so it should be in between basically or beside this wooden boarded up shaft. Now you're going to ask about the closed off tunnel, option number 1. Now what we're going to need to do is head into the middle building. Now if you remember back to the Giant Dwarf Quest, what you would have done is you would have signed up to one of the, I think it's like 8 clans or something like that, I'm not at all sure. Right, so it turns out they're not clans, they're called consortiums. Now basically during the Giant Dwarf Quest, which I did about 2 or 3 years ago, you would have signed up to one of these 8 different colour consortiums. As I said, I did it a few years ago, so I've totally forgotten which consortium I signed up to. You need to go ahead and talk to the director of the consortium that you signed up to. Now I forgot, so I'm going to need to go around all the directors until I get recognised. However, if you can remember which colour or which consortium you signed up to, then go ahead and just talk straight to that consortium director. The directors are usually be found in the rooms off to the east and west, and to the south and to the north as well. Alright, okay, so it turns out that I am part of Blue Opal. I had to run all the way around talking to each director. Basically, if you're not part of one, that's just going to say leave. If not, you're going to get loads of chat like this. Once you find your director, go ahead and start talking to them, and then select option number 3, can you help me with the boarded up tunnel? And then you're going to mention the red axe and all basically what has happened. So now that we know some additional information on it, what we're going to do is head back to the southeast, back down to the minecarts. This time you're going to want to go to the very southern minecarts, that is these two here, and then when we're talking to the cart conductor earlier on, the background you would have noticed that was boarded up. This time however it is not. So you're going to go ahead and enter the minecart, the train cart. Make sure your hands are free because you will need to hold on to the cart and then enter it once you're ready, and then hopefully we'll enter ourselves into a cutscene. So you're now going to find yourself deep underground, and basically there's 1 or 2 puzzles we're going to do. There's 6 rooms in total, all have different sort of things. So first thing we're going to do is search the box to your south once you arrive, and then you're going to get yourself a square stone, and you're also going to get yourself another square stone. You're then going to want to come over to the machine just on the west wall, the dwarven machinery, and go ahead and control it. This is basically a map which we need to go ahead and control. So you're going to go ahead and set a junction there, and then you're going to come and set a junction there as well. So you want your first map to look like that. So start off with yellow, then go to green, then go to blue, just like that. You basically just want to copy what I'm doing here. Then you want to X out of that and then go ahead and ride the train cart. Now that you've mapped out where you're going to go to this, like one of these sort of like islands over here, and you're going to be able to get something. And then we're going to do this 3 times and then we'll get past the room. So arrived at the first one, you're going to get out the minecart and then just go ahead and search the box. So go and ride the train cart again, and then we'll go back to the start. So go ahead and control the dwarven machinery again, and you want to try and make your map like mine. So first one's going to be green, then it's going to be yellow just to the north of that, and then it's going to be another green one again. So you're going to want to have a map exactly the same as me there, and then once you've got it, go ahead and ride the train map. And then again, once you get silent, search the box, get some more pieces, and then ride the train cart back to the start. This time we should have 2 yellows and 2 greens. So the final map we need to go ahead and plot looks like this. So southeast, southeast, northeast and east. X out that and ride the train cart again. And now that is the first room complete. So you're now going to be in this second room here. This room is quite easy to get past. Basically you want to run through all the chat, and basically it's telling you, if you think back to the Giant Dwarf Quest, the statue, supposedly it fell over. It was actually pushed over because it was a plot to attack Keldagrim. Anyway, so what you need to do is basically just hug this south wall and crawl past them, and somehow they don't see you. I don't know how, but you just need to hug the south wall basically, move past them, and then you want to make your way to the east and then enter the cave entrance like so. Somehow they don't see you, they really should, but there we go, that's that part done quite easy. So we're now into room number 3. This is another minecart one again, very easy though, so don't worry. Again, go ahead and search the box, get yourself the initial starting pieces, and then go over to the machine, and you want to create something like this. And then once you've got something looking like that, go ahead and then ride the train cart, search the box, and then ride the train cart back to the start, and then go ahead and use the machinery again. You're going to try and make a map like this. Once you've got a map looking like this, exit out and ride the train cart. Once you arrive, go ahead and search the box, get the items, and then go back to the start. And then go ahead and control the machinery again. So your final map needs to look something like this. So once you've got it like that, go ahead and exit out that and then ride the train cart, and that should be room number 3 complete. So you'll then enter into the 4th room, and basically this is just a store cupboard. So if you zoom out, you're basically going to see loads of storage crates in this storage room. So there are 3 crates which have got white documents on the top. You want to go ahead and search all these, and then basically just skip through them, and then basically going to start to find notes. Go ahead and just close out of them. Scroll down this final note as well and then exit out of that. Now after you search the 3 crates, what you want to do is come over to the north wall and the bookshelf to the northeast, that's the northeast, go ahead and look for that, and then you're going to find a book called Red Axe Employee Records. Go ahead and read through that and then exit out of that, and then once that's done you just want to exit through the eastern door and then select option number 1, yes. So you're then going to arrive in the 5th room, and this is going to be another minecart one. Go ahead and get the pieces out of the box and then go over to the machine. These maps are starting to get a lot more complicated now, but you want to map yours looking like mine here. And then once you got something like that, go ahead and ride the train cart. Go ahead and then search the box and then go back to the start. So this time we're going to want to make a map looking like this. And then once you got something like that, go ahead and ride the train cart and then search the box for one final time. And then jump back into the minecart and then let's plot this final map. So you have it like so, exit and then ride the train cart. And then once that's done, you're going to land up going into room 6. This is basically just a cutscene room, you don't have to do anything though. So basically you're going to overhear basically the Red Axe people, they're going to be talking away. You're going to actually see the Red Axe itself. And then they're going to be talking away. You're going to be like listening in, which you shouldn't be doing obviously. And there's going to be some Chaos Dwarves. It looks like they are getting an army together. Unfortunately you are going to get caught and then you're going to get teleported back out and you're going to land up being back at the minecarts. So we're going to head back to Veldaban. He is west of the West Bank. And then once you arrive back at the headquarters, go ahead and enter and talk to Veldaban himself. And then basically tell him basically what you found out in all the rooms and the cutscene. Unfortunately though, we haven't completed the quest yet, though we are very close. So from here what you want to do is pretty much head directly in an easterly direction. Go straight over the bridge. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and enter the building just to the southwest of the Drunken Dwarf's house. This is just to the northeast of the main building in the centre. And you're going to see this person called Jut. Go ahead and talk to him. And then you want to go ahead and buy kebabs. So select option number 1, sure, 1 kebab please. It's going to cost you 1 gold coin, you might have to enter your PIN. And then once you've got that, you should have a kebab and a beer still left in your inventory. So head south and then we're going to go into the pub to the east of the city. Now if for some reason you've gone and lost your beer, then go ahead and trade one of the barmaids or go ahead and talk to them and then you'll basically be able to buy another. Go ahead and just drink that and then that should initiate a cutscene, and with your kebab then basically you're going to land up celebrating the great news that you found out. And then it looks like you're going to pass out from drinking too much. And then everyone is going to be having some good laughs. And then basically the Red Axe person himself is going to land up saying that no one is going to believe me. Anyway, so that's the quest complete, long last. So congratulations, you've completed Forgettable Tale of a Drunken Dwarf. You're rewarded with 2 quest points, 5,000 farming XP, 5,000 cooking XP, 2 mature dwarven stouts, and you're also awarded 2 treasure hunter keys. Hope you found this guide helpful. Please leave it a like, rate, and subscribe for more content. My name is Hightower 5000 and I'm out. Adios.